From Yummia, Mia McCarthy, of course, working with Boxer & Co. for Yummia. Tell me what Yummia is. What is this?
Okay, well, Yummia is, it's my business. I started it in 2011 when I was at university doing primary school teaching, so a little different to what I'm doing now. But we started off with a ready-made bircher muesli product, and that sort of went all right. And then we got that into the supermarkets, and then in March this year we launched a yogurt range into the supermarkets, and the yogurts have a fruit vegetable combination. So each yogurt tub has half a serve of veggies, and we're the only yogurt on the market to offer that, and also the only yogurt on the market currently with a 5-star health rating in there in Woolworths as well.
You identified it's something in the market that wasn't existing already, although there's a lot of yogurts in the market that they hadn't had this particular one, so you knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, I originally started with the bircher muesli, doing a ready-made birchers, because I sort of saw a bit of a gap in the market. As in, I was making a lot of bircher muesli, but you couldn't buy it ready-made. And then did that for a few years, and then sort of about 6 months ago, I sort of thought I wanted to start looking at bringing out another product. But I knew, obviously, being a small player and going into the supermarkets, you kind of compete against the big yogurt brands. So I knew I couldn't go in with a raspberry flavoured yogurt or a honey buzz and expect them to look at it. So sort of through talking with buyers, we came up with the idea of, first it was just plain vegetables, and then did a bit of research, and we decided to add the fruit component to it just to make it a bit more palatable with the consumers. And that's sort of where our biggest growth has been, actually, quite surprisingly, in a yogurt product. I thought I would more start with the birchers and head more down the muesli track, but we sort of got the yogurts, and we seem to be heading more down the chilled yogurt area.
Okay, so the market's there. There's two different products that are in the supermarkets at the moment, and you're competing with the big players, I suppose, in the industry. What role then does design have in this, in terms of being able to even market and improve where you stand in the market?
Yeah, well, obviously design is the first thing that draws people in when looking at the product on shelves. Especially when we first started off with the bircher mueslis, I noticed my biggest problem was I was trying to launch a product that people weren't really looking for, and a brand that people weren't really looking for. So it was it's quite hard to, especially when you get into the supermarket, it becomes quite noisy, and how do you differentiate your product. And when we started with the birchers, which is not this project, but we were also muesli products being stocked in the fridges. So I would find that I'd just get emails from consumers being like, I read about your product, but I couldn't find it in the cereal section. And it was like, well, it's in a different section. So
so you had to stand out. So you had to create.
Yeah,
you had to work with Boxer & Co. So firstly, why did you choose Boxer & Co. and what is it that you wanted to do to stand out?
I first chose Boxer & Co. because I was just thought that I should invest some money in the design. When they first started off with the birchers, and I was just sticking stickers on the containers. So they helped develop that design, definitely helped, develop the brand. And then obviously with the yogurts, they're just now my design team. I mean, I consider them a part of Yummia. They know me so well, and so when we did the yogurts, I just called them up and I was like, this is what we want to do. And so that's why and how I chose them, I suppose, for this project. But they sort of have done everything design-wise, really to do with Yummia. So they just know. I find that works quite well for me as well, knowing them so well and them knowing me as a client. I can just call them up, and I always have different ideas about things that I want to do, and I'll just go, hey, this is what I was thinking. What do you think? And they seem to have a really good take on the market. They're also packaging specialists. So there are a lot of designers out there who all do wonderful work, except when you're sending in products, especially like a food product, there's a lot of requirements that you need just to have around packaging and nutritional paneling. So I found it's quite good to work with a company that is experts in their field. Yeah.
Sales? Post change in packaging. That's what I want to know.
Well, with the yogurts, that's the only packaging they've ever had, and the yogurts have done like really well product-wise, design-wise. They've sort of exceeded my expectations, which has been great. And the Birches, their sales have improved. We had a different packaging before, and we changed their packaging and added a spoon, which has sort of increased their sales as well. But the biggest problem is now trying to get consumers to be able to actually find it in their local store, because we're in a lot of the supermarkets, but we're not in absolutely every single one. And you'll find that consumers will only shop at their one supermarket. So, that's I suppose the biggest issue is trying to direct them to the right store at the moment.